What if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back from starting a business isn't a lack of money, but a lack of the right knowledge? I know, it sounds a little out there, but we're about to dive into a story that might just convince you it's true. See, this isn't just some feel-good quote you'd see on a poster. It's a real strategy. It's the idea that your brain can be more powerful than your bank account. And that's exactly what separates the entrepreneurs who last from the ones who just have a fleeting good idea. We're going to break down how one person turned this very principle into a massive success. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the challenge that was set. Then, we'll dig into how to find the real problem, not just the obvious one. After that, we'll see the small bet strategy in action, how the winning formula came together, and finally, we'll lay out a blueprint that you can use. Okay, let's get into it. It's time to meet the guy who decided to put his entire reputation, his entire life's work on the line. This wasn't just some business school project. For him, it was a deeply personal test to see if everything he'd learned could still create something amazing from absolutely nothing. So this is Mr. Robert. And let me tell you, he is not your typical startup founder. We're talking about a guy with decades of experience running huge companies. He had this incredible perspective. So when he finally retires to this small, quiet village, he can't just switch off his brain. He starts seeing the local economy through his super experienced eyes. And what he sees is potential everywhere. And this is where our story really kicks off. He meets a local guy named David. Now, David is a creator, super passionate, and he makes this fantastic snack that everybody in town just loves. But here's the thing, passion doesn't always equal growth. David was stuck in a trap that so many people fall into, a great product, but a business that's going nowhere. For Mr. Robert, though, this wasn't a sad story, it was an interesting puzzle. So he looks at this whole situation and asks himself this really gutsy question. Could I, with all my big shot experience, actually succeed where David is stuck? And here's the kicker, starting from absolute zero. No big investment, no team of experts, just his own knowledge. That's the experiment we're about to watch unfold. Now, this next part, this is probably the most important lesson in the whole story. See, most of us, when we have an idea, we start with the product. Mr. Robert did the complete opposite. He started by looking for a problem. And that simple change in focus, well, that's everything. This slide just nails the difference in their thinking, doesn't it? On the left, you've got David's world. It's all about his snack, his packet, his little group of customers. But look at the right. Mr. Roberts saw the whole landscape. He didn't just see a snack maker, he saw a shared problem, the ridiculously high cost of flour that was hurting all the local businesses. He wasn't thinking about one product, he was thinking about one solution for an entire market. So this definition basically became his North Star. A winning product isn't about being flashy or complicated. Nope, it has to be simple. It has to solve a problem that lots of people have. And it has to be something that people will want and trust for a long, long time. And boom, here's his idea. Notice it's not another snack. He went to the root of the problem. His idea was to supply locally sourced flour at a fair price, but with packaging that actually meant something to the community, that celebrated their culture. It was simple, it was essential, and it was deeply connected. So he's got this great idea, right? Now, most people would go write a business plan, try to raise a bunch of money, rent a warehouse, the drill. But Mr. Robert, he does the complete opposite. He uses what I like to call a small bet strategy to see if this idea can actually work in the real world. And this is so important. Mr. Robert could have easily funded this thing himself, but he chose to start with almost nothing. Why? Because he wanted to prove that the method was the magic ingredient, not the money. He was testing his knowledge, not his wallet. And here's exactly how he did it. He created this amazing, fast-paced learning loop. Step 1, make a tiny little batch. Step 2, go out there and try to sell it. Now, every single no he got wasn't a failure. It was a piece of data. He would immediately ask, okay, why not? Was the quality off? Was the price wrong? And all the while, he was studying what the other guys were doing right and wrong. This whole thing wasn't about selling. It was about learning as fast and as cheap as humanly possible. Okay, so after weeks of this cycle of creating, getting rejected, and learning, he's collected an absolute goldmine of real-world information straight from the people who actually matter. Now it's time to put all those puzzle pieces together. So after all of those experiments, all of those conversations, and all those rejections, What was it? What was the one single insight that changed everything? The one lesson that unlocked the whole business? It was this. So simple, you could almost miss it. Always listen to the customers. That was it. It wasn't about his brilliant ideas or his ego. The answers were right there, in the market. His only job was to shut up, listen, and then adapt. And check this out. This is the beautiful formula he built from all that listening. The product? Local flour with some spices mixed in because that's what customers asked for. The packaging? It told local stories, creating a real emotional connection. And the business model? Absolute genius. A simple partnership that let other people sell his product and make a profit too. And the result of all this? I mean, it was a home run. The product became a local sensation because it was good, it was affordable, and it felt like it belonged to the community. And because he built that partnership model, he wasn't just making himself successful. He was lifting up a bunch of other small business owners right along with him. It was a total win-win. So that's a great story, right? But what does it actually mean for you and your ideas? Let's take Mr. Roberts' whole journey and distill it down into a clear, actionable blueprint that you can actually use. Here it is, your success from zero blueprint. You start with what you know, not what's in your bank account. You hunt for a real problem to solve, not just a product to sell. You test your ideas with small, cheap bets. Every no is a lesson, not a failure. You listen, really listen to your customers because they have all the answers. And finally, you build something that helps others win too. This isn't just a to-do list, it's a whole philosophy. And that brings us right back to you. For Mr. Robert, the problem was expensive flour. So what's the expensive flour in your world? What's that simple, annoying, overlooked problem that's sitting right in front of you, just waiting for someone to finally come up with a winning formula? You've got the blueprint. Now it's your turn.